You see it literally every single time you open your phone, right?
Constantly.
Entrepreneurship is constantly sold to us as this ultimate form of freedom.
Right, the freedom to design your life.
Exactly. The freedom to build something incredibly meaningful, completely control your own income, wake up whenever you want.
Work from a laptop on a beach somewhere?
Yes. You've probably scrolled past those exact motivational posts, those perfectly curated highlight reels that make running a business look like an endless permanent vacation.
A very aesthetic vacation.
Right. But behind all that glossy marketing is a much harsher truth that every single entrepreneur eventually faces.
The reality check.
Yeah, the reality is that running a business is intensely emotional. It is highly stressful,
And incredibly lonely a lot of the time.
so lonely. And more often than not, it just feels like you are trying to solve 10 completely different problems at the exact same time while everyone around you thinks you're just living the dream.
Which is a heavy burden to carry.
It really is. So welcome to your custom deep dive. Today, our mission is to answer a burning question that so many small business owners eventually start asking.
Which is, why does growing a business feel so unbelievably hard?
Exactly. Why is it so hard? And to answer that, we're diving into some really fascinating source material that connects the everyday, grinding struggles of business directly to foundational human psychology.
It is a really profound connection to make, and honestly, it provides a lot of clarity.
I mean, it completely changes how you look at a company.
It does. The core premise we are looking at today is actually quite elegant in its simplicity. The argument is that businesses, much like human beings, have very fundamental needs.
Needs that have to be met.
Yes, and crucially, those needs must be met in a highly specific sequential order before the business can actually grow and thrive.
You can't just skip ahead.
No, you absolutely cannot just skip to the end of the process, no matter how badly you want to.
Okay, let's unpack this because the material goes all the way back to something you, the listener, might actually remember from a freshman intro to psychology class.
Oh, Maslow.
Yeah, it brings up a theory developed by the American psychologist Abraham Maslow back in 1943. Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
A classic.
Walk us through how this human pyramid actually works, because I know it sets up everything we're going to talk about regarding the business side.
Sure. So Maslow proposed that human beings are motivated by different levels of needs, and these needs build upon each other in a highly structured hierarchy.
Which is usually visualized as that famous pyramid.
Right, the pyramid.
Yeah.
Now, the absolute crucial rule of this pyramid, really the entire engine that makes the theory work, is that higher level needs cannot be fully pursued until the lower level needs are satisfied.
Makes sense.
He identified 5 specific levels. The very foundation is physiological needs. These are the absolute bare minimum requirements to keep the human body alive.
Food, water.
Food, water, shelter, sleep, the non-negotiables.
So basically, if I'm freezing in the woods and I haven't eaten in 3 days, I'm definitely not worrying about, whether people like my outfit
No, definitely not.
or what my grand legacy in the world is going to be. My entire focus is just finding a fire and a meal.
That is the perfect way to look at it. The physiological deficit overrides absolutely everything else.
Survival mode.
Exactly. But once those bare minimum survival needs are met, people naturally move up to the second level, which is safety needs.
Right.
Having found food and shelter, you begin seeking stability and protection from chaos. This includes financial security, health stability, stable employment.
You want predictability so you don't end up freezing in the woods again tomorrow.
Exactly. You want a buffer, which naturally leads to the third level.
Love and belonging. Right.
Yes, because we are social creatures.
So after we know we aren't going to starve and we know we are safe, we start looking around for other people.
We seek out friendships, family relationships, community. We want emotional connection. Belonging plays an incredibly powerful role in our emotional well-being.
It's huge.
And once we feel accepted into a group, we move to the 4th level, which is esteem needs.
So this is where we start wanting to stand out a bit.
Yes. This is where individuals pursue confidence, recognition, and achievement. It is no longer just about being part of the group. It's about wanting respect from others within that group.
We want a good reputation.
You want personal accomplishment, status. We want to feel capable and highly valued.
And then there is the very tip of the pyramid, level 5.
Self-actualization.
Yeah, the pursuit of personal fulfillment.
It's about creativity, personal growth,
Right.
and reaching your absolute full potential.
You're motivated by meaning and impact here, not just basic survival or status.
Exactly. If we contextualize this for you, the listener, the key takeaway from Maslow's theory is that human motivation is not just some random occurrence. People focus intensely on the needs that matter most for their current stage of life. If you are deeply worried about paying your rent next week, your brain isn't allocating resources to ponder your legacy.
No, you're just trying to make rent.
And if you are actively searching for physical safety, you really don't care about public recognition. Every single stage fundamentally builds upon the previous one.
It makes perfect sense when you think about human behavior. I mean, we all operate this way.
We do, but what's fascinating here is that the source material reveals this insight doesn't just apply to people. It applies remarkably well to businesses.
It's almost a one-to-one map.
It really is. Just like human beings, businesses have essential needs that must be satisfied in a very specific order.
And if they weren't?
If a business tries to pursue higher-level strategies before meeting its foundational needs, the growth becomes totally unstable. Marketing campaigns fail, scaling efforts collapse.
Even the really good ideas.
Even the most brilliant, innovative ideas just crumble under the pressure because the foundation simply isn't there.
So let's look at this business hierarchy of needs, starting right at the bottom with level 1, revenue survival.
The foundation.
This is the physiological need of business. The material is very clear here. The first need of every single business is revenue.
Without a doubt.
The core focus has to be generating paying customers, validating your product, and identifying actual market demand.
The analogy used by the researchers is brilliant here. They say revenue is the oxygen that keeps the business alive.
Oxygen. I love that.
If you are underwater and running out of air, you aren't thinking about swimming faster or looking graceful.
You're just thrashing for the surface.
You just need to breathe. Without revenue, literally no other strategy matters.
But wait, I have to ask, isn't that a bit of a catch-22?
How so?
Well, don't you need high-end branding and slick marketing, which are technically higher-level strategies to actually convince people to give you that level 1 revenue in the first place? How does that work?
It is a really common misconception, but no, you do not need a slick brand to generate initial revenue.
You don't.
Not at all. You need to validate that a customer is willing to hand you money for a specific solution to their problem.
Okay.
A fancy logo doesn't do that. A compelling offer does. If you spend 6 months agonizing over a website design before ever trying to sell your service, you are holding your breath underwater.
Just burning through your oxygen.
Exactly. You need the oxygen of revenue first to prove the business should even exist.
Okay, that makes total sense. You get the oxygen flowing. But once that revenue exists, once the business can finally breathe, the next need becomes apparent. Level 2.
Operational stability.
Right. This is the safety layer of business.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where the business has to transition from chaotic, everyday hustle to actual structured operations.
And why is this transition so critical? Because without operational stability, businesses experience completely unpredictable growth.
Feast or famine.
Exactly. You might see sales spike 1 month because you hustled incredibly hard, and then completely disappear the next month when you get tired.
Because you can't sustain that level of hustle forever.
Nobody can. Creating safety means implementing repeatable sales processes, establishing clear pricing models, and utilizing things like lead management and CRM tools.
A CRM, a customer relationship management tool, right?
Yes.
Basically a central nervous system for your customer data. So you aren't just relying on a chaotic mess of scattered sticky notes, messy spreadsheets, and your own memory to keep the business running.
That is a great way to describe it. A central nervous system. Establishing these systems creates the safety that allows a business to operate with actual predictability rather than running on blind panic and adrenaline.
And reading through the material, there was a major aha moment for me regarding this stability phase.
Oh, about the bottleneck.
Yes. It points out that without this operational stability, the owner becomes the absolute bottleneck for everything.
They do.
Think about that for a second. If you're listening to this, have you ever felt like the bottleneck in your own work?
It's a very common feeling.
Where if you don't personally touch a project, if you don't personally send that specific email or make that specific phone call, the whole machine just grinds to a halt.
It's exhausting.
That intense feeling of being overwhelmed, of trying to solve 10 problems at once, it happens entirely because the business lacks that level 2 safety layer. The systems aren't protecting the owner from the chaos.
And when the owner is the bottleneck, the business is trapped in a perpetual state of vulnerability. It cannot move up the pyramid.
Because it's too fragile.
Think about it. The business's output is entirely dependent on one person's daily energy levels. And we know from the human pyramid that a person's energy fluctuates based on their own physical and emotional needs.
Right. If you get sick, the business gets sick.
Exactly. So escaping that bottleneck through structured systems is absolutely mandatory for the business's long-term survival.
Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
What happens once a business finally breaks free from that bottleneck? Once it actually establishes that stability and safety where the owner isn't doing every single task.
It moves to level 3, authority and market position.
Which translates to the love and belonging layer for humans.
Exactly. At this stage, the survival panic is gone.
You're breathing fine.
The chaotic hustle is organized into reliable systems. Now, the business has the breathing room to establish its place in the broader market ecosystem.
It's looking for its community.
And the primary question customers begin asking at this stage actually changes. They aren't just asking, can you solve my problem anymore?
What are they asking?
They are asking, why should we trust you over everyone else? This is where building authority becomes absolutely critical.
It's about forming connections, just like the belonging stage for humans. For a business, it's almost like trying to find your friend group in the industry.
That's a great way to put it.
It means building industry credibility, putting out consistent, valuable content, and establishing true thought leadership.
You're generating trust.
Generating trust through your expertise, increasing visibility within a specific niche. You want to build such deep familiarity that customers feel completely comfortable and confident choosing you.
You are building a real community around the brand. And once that trust and belonging are firmly established, the business is ready for level 4.
Scalable systems.
Right. This corresponds directly to the esteem stage in Maslow's human pyramid.
Okay, remind us of the human side of that.
At the human esteem level, individuals pursue confidence, recognition, and achievement. For a business, this is where expansion, market share, and widespread recognition become the primary priorities.
Growth finally takes center stage.
It does, but there is a massive warning light flashing here in the source material.
A huge red flag.
Scaling requires very specific advanced systems. You can't just step on the gas pedal and hope for the best.
Because growing and scaling aren't the same thing, are they?
Scaling and growing are often confused, but they are very different. Growing might just mean working more hours to make more money.
Which just leads back to burnout.
Right. Scaling means increasing your revenue exponentially without a corresponding increase in your costs or your effort.
Okay, that makes sense.
To satisfy this esteem need, businesses have to develop deep automation processes, rigorous operational procedures, team leadership structures, and real performance measurement tools.
To put this in perspective for the listener, imagine a local independent bakery.
Oh, this is a great example.
Let's say they've mastered level 3. People love them, they have a great community, and suddenly one of their custom cakes goes absolutely viral on social media.
Millions of views.
Millions of views. That is a massive spike in recognition and potential esteem. But if they don't have level 4 scalable systems,
Like commercial-grade ovens.
right, if they don't have commercial ovens, an automated inventory tracking system, or a trained management team to handle the sudden influx of 1,000 orders, what happens?
The business breaks. The sudden success literally becomes a catastrophe.
You can't fulfill the orders
Customers get angry, the staff burns out, and it turns into a complete public relations disaster.
because they tried to scale without the systems.
That is why the material specifically warns that rapid growth without scalable systems will simply overwhelm a business. Scaling must increase efficiency, not chaos.
Wow.
If you try to expand recognition and status without the automation and team structures to support it, you will completely fracture the operational stability you work so hard to build back in level 2.
It just collapses on itself.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the very top of the business pyramid for the companies that actually survive that scaling phase. Level 5,
Legacy and industry impact.
the self-actualization stage.
This is the absolute pinnacle. At this highest level, the company stops focusing purely on its own survival, or even its own immediate quarter-to-quarter growth.
It's bigger than that now.
It begins shaping the market itself.
It has transcended the daily grind. The material notes that this stage involves building a truly powerful, recognizable brand that stands for something bigger.
Intellectual property.
Yes, creating unique intellectual property, influencing massive industry conversations, mentoring other upcoming entrepreneurs, and establishing a long-term, lasting legacy.
They become the standard.
Businesses operating at this level 5 peak are the ones that spark real movements. They aren't just playing the game anymore. They are the ones writing the rules of the game.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this entire 5-step framework acts as a deeply revealing diagnostic tool.
A diagnostic tool.
Yes. It explains with startling clarity why so many small businesses struggle to grow and why so many incredibly talented entrepreneurs face immense frustration and eventual burnout.
Because they're skipping steps.
The fatal flaw is skipping steps.
So many entrepreneurs attempt to jump directly into those advanced, higher-level strategies right out of the gate.
It's so tempting.
They invest heavily in expensive marketing campaigns, massive social media growth tactics, widespread advertising, and high-end branding.
Jumping straight to level 5.
Right. But they are doing this while their foundational layers, their consistent revenue and their operational stability, are completely weak or maybe even non-existent.
We have to look at the psychology of why founders do this because it is very telling.
Why do they skip to level 5?
Because level 1, generating consistent revenue, is difficult.
It's a grind.
It is full of rejection. Cold calling, pitching, and hearing no from potential clients is painful.
Nobody likes hearing no.
But designing a beautiful logo, ordering premium business cards, or talking about your visionary legacy on a panel, that's fun.
That feels good.
It feeds the ego, it provides an immediate dopamine hit. So founders retreat to level 5 activities because level 1 hurts.
But doing so suffocates the business.
Completely.
That is such a crucial point. It's the illusion of progress. You feel like you're building a business because you're picking out brand colors, but you're actually starving the company of oxygen.
You're just decorating a house with no foundation.
Exactly. The growth strategies at the top of the pyramid simply do not work unless the business foundation is strong. Skipping steps inevitably leads to severe financial stress, a collapsing business structure, and deep emotional exhaustion.
Which is why understanding where you currently sit on this pyramid is perhaps the most valuable exercise a business owner can undertake.
So if you, the listener, are sitting in your car right now or walking your dog and feeling completely overwhelmed by your own projects, you can actually use this framework as a diagnostic tool.
Run through the questions.
Think about your own situation. If you are lying awake at night, actively worrying about consistent cash flow and just keeping the lights on, you are at level 1.
Secure the oxygen.
You need to secure your revenue oxygen before you do absolutely anything else. Forget the rebranding.
And if the cash flow is actually fine, but you cannot take a 1-week vacation without the whole operation catching fire and your phone ringing off the hook.
You are stuck at level 2.
You don't need more marketing. You need systems and operational safety.
Now, if you have those systems in place and the business runs smoothly, but people just don't know why they should choose you over the competitor across the street, you need to work on level 3.
You need to build authority and trust.
And if people do trust you and the demand is there, but taking on twice as many clients tomorrow would cause your delivery process to completely break down like our hypothetical bakery you are at level 4.
Your focus must shift entirely to automation and building scalable team leadership.
Finally, if everything else is running like a beautifully oiled machine and you have the market share, it's time to look at level 5 and ask how you are shaping your industry's legacy.
Are you creating a movement?
The answers to these questions objectively strip away all the confusion and reveal the exact next strategic move you need to make.
That diagnostic clarity is invaluable. It removes the emotional overwhelm of feeling like you have to solve 10 complex problems at once, and it replaces it with a single, highly focused objective based entirely on your current stage in the hierarchy.
So what does this all mean? Our sources today have laid out a really profound perspective on the reality of building a business.
They really have.
Businesses do not grow randomly. They don't succeed just because one entrepreneur hustles harder than everyone else or drinks more coffee.
It's not just about grit.
They grow through very distinct, non-negotiable psychological stages. Revenue, then stability, then authority, then scale, and finally, legacy.
In that exact order.
By understanding this 5-stage path, you can actually stop chasing all those scattered shiny object tactics that promise overnight success.
You can save so much energy.
You can stop feeling like you're failing just because you aren't building a world-changing legacy on day 1. Instead, you can start building intentional, sustainable growth. You satisfy the current level, you build a rock-solid foundation, and then and only then you climb to the next step.
This raises an important question. One to perhaps mull over as you analyze the businesses around you this week.
Okay, what is it?
We've established that a business naturally evolves upward through these psychological stages, just like a human being does. But what happens when the market itself experiences a sudden, massive external shock?
Like what?
Think of a severe economic crash or a totally disruptive technological shift that changes an entire industry overnight.
Oh, wow.
Does a level 5 legacy business instantly plummet back down to level 1 survival to desperately gasp for revenue oxygen? Or does that established legacy, the deep trust, the community, the authority they've built over years, actually act as an oxygen tank that protects them and sustains them through the chaos?
That is a phenomenal question to leave off on, and it really makes you think about the true value of reaching that top tier.
It changes the whole perspective.
It really does.
Mm.
Next time you look at a highly successful brand, or the next time you sit down to work on your own projects, try looking at it through this new psychological lens. Figure out what level of the pyramid you're really on, and what foundational piece you actually need to build next.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and we'll catch you next time.